Hello friends, welcome to the world of business studies. In the last 30 discussion, we have covered chapter number 1, that is nature and significance of management, chapter number 2, principles of management, chapter number 3, business environment, chapter number 4, planning, and chapter number 5, organizing of NCERT. Now, in this discussion, I'll be continuing with chapter number 6 of NCERT, that is staffing, in which we have covered topics like staffing meaning, importance of staffing, human resource management meaning, evolution of human resource management, staffing process, recruitment, sources of recruitment, internal sources, external sources, selection process, important tests used for the selection of employees, training and development and education, and methods of training, that was on-the-job training and off-the-job training. Now, in this discussion, I'll be covering the topics like on-the-job methods and off-the-job methods. Now moving to the first slide, that is on-the-job methods. As I have already explained you what is the meaning of on-the-job methods. Continuing with that, I'll explain you in short that what was on-the-job training method. On-the-job training is a learning while working. Employees are trained while performing the jobs. Now, there are few methods of on-the-job training, that is apprenticeship programs, coaching, internship training, and job rotation. I'll be explaining you all these 4 methods one by one in detail. Now moving to the first one, that is apprenticeship program. The method is used in those cases where long-term training is required to attain complete proficiency to perform a particular job. The trainee is required to work with an expert for a specific period of time. The period of training may often vary from 2 or 7 years. During this course of training, the expert imparts complete knowledge of both theoretical and practical aspects of the job. Here, this apprenticeship program is mainly or it's most famous for the medical field peoples, where the knowledge is very important before doing treatment for a patient. So, they need to be trained under an expert doctor, the new doctors who do the apprenticeship programming, where they learn the various theoretical as well as the practical aspects. What are the treatment they need to give while a patient is suffering from particular disease. Now moving to the next one, that is coaching. In this method, a newly appointed person is made as assistant of an experienced manager who is known as coach. For some time, he observes the functions of the senior manager and tries to understand it. Thereafter, the senior manager assigns him simple jobs and performs and problems and guide him. When the senior manager feels that he has acquired desired proficiency, then he is called upon to find solutions to complex problems, and sometimes he has to do the work of the entire department all by himself in the absence of the senior manager. In this way, he gradually acquires full managerial activity. You can say that in coaching, one need to work under the senior and has to learn all the facts by observing and even by solving the problems, and they even learn by the guidance of the senior manager. This training has been given so that whenever in future the senior manager is absent, or if by chance he has to leave the organization, there should be an people who is ready to take that positions and continue with the job and continue with the organization functions. Now, moving to the next type of training, that is internship training. Under internship training, technical institutions and business organizations jointly impart training to their members. The objective of the training is to strike a balance between theoretical and practical knowledge. Educational institutions impart theoretical knowledge to their students, but the practical knowledge they are sent to business organizations. Likewise, employees already working in business organizations are sent to educational institutions from time to time to get the latest theoretical knowledge. In this way, both kind of institutions tender mutual help to each other. We can say that while we are doing a higher education like MBA or engineering, each and every student get the theoretical knowledge from their college itself, but after a certain period of time they are being told to take an internship training where they are sent to the organization to gain the practical knowledge, or even they are being sent to understand or to implement the theoretical knowledge in their practical life. So internship training is very important for the employee or for the students to know the practical knowledge about the market. Now the next one, that is job rotation training. The objective of this method is to provide full knowledge of all the departments to a manager. Initially, he is appointed in one department, say production department. When he comes to know each and everything about that department, he is transferred to the another department, say marketing department. Later on, he is sent to the other department. Main objective of this training method is to make available such kind of officers to an institution as are capable of taking charge of any department under adverse circumstances. Here, people are being transferred to the different departments so that he or she is able to gain the knowledge of different departments, so that in the adverse situation he or she will be able to face that adverse circumstances in the best possible way. These were all about the on-the-job training method. Now the another training method is that off-the-job training method. As I have already explained you on off-the-job training method, I'll explain you in short that in this method, training is given to the workers outside the workplace. Emphasis is more on the learning than doing. Now following are the methods of off-the-job training, like classroom lectures or conferences, films, case study, computer modeling, vestibule training, and programmed instruction. I'll be explaining you all this method one by one in detail. Moving to the first one, that is classroom lecture conferences. Under this method, theoretical knowledge of the managers is brushed up. They are informed to the latest techniques for tracking different problems. In the large organization, permanent experts are appointed to pass on such information to the managers as required. They deliver lecture on different subjects from time to time. Small organizations which cannot afford to appoint permanent experts invite experts from the educational institutions to deliver lectures. Now the next one, that is films. Films can be very effective technique, particularly where dimensions of skill is required. It is widely used in conference discussions. Now the next, that is case study method. Under this method, trainee managers are called upon by the senior managers to solve a special problem. All the trainees try to solve the problem on the basis of their individual knowledge and experience and tally with others. There are arguments and counter-arguments among them when different solutions are presented for a problem. Each one presents evidence in support of his solutions. These arguments and counter-arguments are heard by the senior managers. on the basis of arguments and counter arguments, and by using their own special experience, the senior manager presents a suitable solutions and point out the shortcoming in the efforts made by them in suggesting solutions to the problem. Now the next, that is computer modeling. It is a computer-based training where the trainee uses computer to increase his or her skills. This method is used while training imparted for a higher risk or higher cost involved situation, such as imparting training for defusing the time bomb. Next, that is vestibule training. Under this method, with a view or to impart training to a new employee, a separate training center is set up. An experienced and trained trainer is appointed as in charge of the center. Machine tools and other equipment are so arranged in the center as to present a look of a workshop. When employees are trained, they are put on the real job. Last point, that is program instruction. This method is involved by the Paul and Pigners, who were dissatisfied with the case study method. Under the case study, all the aspects of a big problem are considered simultaneously. As against it, under programmed instructions, a brief incident is taken into consideration. Training and student seeks appropriate solution to the problem on the basis of argument and counter arguments among them. Main advantage of this method is that student gets important information by putting questions to the trainer. Now, these were the all things we need to discuss in this discussion. Here, by ending with this topic, we end with the chapter number 6. In the next discussion, we'll be starting with chapter number 7, that is directive. Let us know your doubt or any specific query below in the comment section. Subscribe us and ring the bell button so that you won't miss any important updates. Till then, enjoy studying business studies.